January 8th, and when you watch this episode, deer season will be officially closed in Missouri. But Adam and I aren't depressed because we'll start right in with our postseason trail camera survey, making plans for food plots, and we've got some great ideas where to hang stands for next year. Come on along because we've got another hunt to go through before the season closes.
Growing Deer TV is brought to you by Bass Pro Shops, also by Reconics, Trophy Rock, Gallagher, Muddy Outdoors, Eagle Seed, Nikon, Winchester Ammunition, Redneck Hunting Blinds, Dead Downwind, and Antler Dirt.
There's a proverb that says, a wise man seeks the counsel of many. And I really try to apply that to my life. I know many heads are better than one. On one portion of our property, we have a large area called a 50-acre glade, and we've showed you burns there in the past and maintaining that in early succession for a bedroom. And it slopes off to the south, which is ideal for wintertime bedding and wintertime nutrition as deer eat on the forbs growing out there. You're familiar with the eastern portion of 50-acre glade because that's where Matt took that great 9-pointer earlier this year when we showed you streams of trail camera pictures from that area. As Adam was working that into the property and ventured on up the mountain, he found where a saddle was in the ridge and noted it'd be a natural crossing and we ought to put a trail camera there. Based on Adam's scouting, we quickly hung a Reconics camera there and put a trophy rock out to get some more MRI or some more most recent information. That's always a good step to see if you want to put a stand in the area or not. A secondary step we took was look at the map view software by Reconics and compare where we'd taken pictures of our major bucks on that part of the property before. And when we tied it all together between a couple camera stations, there was clearly a line of travel going very close to that saddle. Now when you put two camera locations together, deer rarely go in a straight line in between, and it's up to the individual to scout and find out where the exact location is that they can approach and hunt that area based on that data. It's comfortable getting dressed out in the woods and putting your hunting clothes on and walking to the stand when it's 65 degrees. You can easily carry your coat over your arm and not get overheated, but deer don't have that option. They got that big heavy fur coat on. They've been storing fat, preparing for the late season and recovering from the rut. And it's miserable walking to the stand when you got your insulated coveralls on or walking around as a deer with that big fur coat on at 65 degrees. January 5th and it's extremely warm. I got my light fleece on, strong wind out of southwest. Got a large 50-acre bedding area over here on the south of us and several scrapes and a rub line coming right through this little saddle. Great pinch point. First time we've hunted it this year. I'm excited to see what happens. Close to dark, I heard something that sounded very big coming through the leaves. I consider myself an experienced outdoorsman, but sometimes even an experienced guy can get faked out. A little later, sure enough, that noise I was looking for came to my ears again. And a second diller came out of that same sinkhole. Prime time is still yet to come as the sun's faded over the ridge and it's now cooling off a little bit, giving those big bucks the incentive they might need to get up and stir around. And once again, noise attracts me to that side of my stand and I know it's got to be a good buck this time. Little did we know we'd hung our muddies right next to an armadillo convention and the third armadillo come out of that sinkhole. Unfortunately, I had meetings scheduled the next morning. That's a perfect opportunity though for Adam and Thomas to try their hand at 50 Acre West when the temperatures will be a little bit cooler.
It's January the 6th. We're here right in the middle of Last Lick 10's core area, so we're hoping he comes by this morning. But if a doe presents a shot, we'll take one of those too.
The morning started off with a beautiful sunrise. It was cool, crisp, and about 8 o'clock, we heard the leaves crunching.
Looks like a 2.5-year-old 8-pointer.
It just so happened to be a couple young bucks, but it was a great start to the morning. The bucks faded off the hill. I sat down just to hear Thomas say, "Deer." I turned around and we have more deer coming from the other direction. They're about 150 to 175 yards away, but they look to be headed our way.
They're coming this way, aren't they? Oh, definitely. I'm gonna shoot the back one.
In a matter of about 10 minutes, they come from over 150 yards to 3 yards to the base of our tree.
You got her. You got her. Hold on. It was like watching a turkey come in. See him come forever. Doe patrol. I can't get a buck to save my life, but the does just keep piling by me.
She runs off the hill. Thomas and I hear her crash. We're whispering back and forth in the stand, recapping the hunt, and I catch more movement. It's 2 more bucks, and they seem to be headed right to the stand. They're about 30 yards out, and I notice one buck just so happens to be Pumpkin Face.
That's Pumpkin Face. That's Pumpkin Face.
Pumpkin Face is a 2.5-year-old buck, but he's got a facial deformity, so it makes him very easy to recognize in the Reconyx images. Reviewing the Reconyx images over the last couple of weeks, Grant and I have noticed that Pumpkin Face has been in a lot of the same locations as Last Lick 10. Instantly, my heart starts racing with the thought of Last Lick 10 being in that area.
Last Lick's around here, man.
But as the morning started to warm up and the bucks started to move off, so did the hope for Last Lick 10.
Well, this is where I shot her. As you can see, there's the stands right there. There's already blood right at the shot. Blood. Just like sprayed all over the ground, so hopefully she won't be much farther.
As a whitetail hunter, one of the problems of large blocks of similar habitat is it doesn't encourage deer to use a defined travel pattern. They can actually choose anywhere in that similar habitat type with no advantage to them and a big disadvantage to hunters.
Yeah, here we go. Oh, is that a deer? There she is. Man. We were truly blessed this morning. Shot this big mature doe, but now we're gonna drag her out of here and go process her and call it a day. All fall, you've seen me help drag Matt's deer out and Grant's deer out. Biggest question is, where are they at today or when it's my turn?
I fly out to the ATA show tomorrow morning to check out all the new bows and gear that goes with archery hunting. Adam's got one more week to really finalize that pattern around last lick 10 and hopefully put him in the book for the year. Either way, we both got a great week ahead. Whether season is already closed where you hunt or you still got a little time left, it's a great time to start planning for 2012 September and getting back out in the deer woods. We'll be right here all summer long, managing habitat, killing predators, and chasing turkeys. Join us, and thanks for watching GrowingDeer.tv.
Wow. Just look at the broadheads. Look at that, or the blades. Look how one's bending that way, the other one's bending that way.